Right. Thank you for joining the second session, which is for us to review, the new ICAN syllabus, discuss the changes and see how, we can actually navigate the changes together, in a very, smooth manner. So just to provide a bit of background, is that ICANN syllabus is not the type that you have static, right? Compared to what you have in some institutions like universities, polytechnic, things don't change that often. And but in ICANN's case, we actually, I think the last syllabus we're working with before now is 2021 syllabus, and before that was 2019 syllabus. And we've been having changes in syllabus before now, but the last significant change that we had when it comes to syllabus change was 2014. And I think the next big change that we've seen so far is the current diet we need to navigate together. So it tells that you need to be ready, you need to be mentally ready, resource wise, you need to be ready, you need to, in terms of time, you need to be able to give it all. But the good news is, for us as a center, we are also ready, resource wise. We've invested a lot from the back end to ensure that, we help our students to navigate the new syllabus, in a very smooth way. Um, so I have my colleagues on the call. I have Victor, I have Kato, I have my other colleagues on the call. So it means we are also ready for your questions, right? So get ready to, bring out questions. And I think the Q&A part will be the most interesting part of this session. So get ready with your questions. And I think you can also put them in the chat box, as the session is ongoing, so that when we are done navigating the slide, we get to Q&A. So I've got Victor on the call, who is the, I mean, the this process owner. So he will be walking us through the slide. Let's look at the changes in the current changes that we have in the syllabus, and then um, will be co-facilitating the session. After that, we'll also discuss, some things you need to be aware of, in terms of boosting your confidence and all of that, just to ensure we have a very smooth diet. Okay. So Victor, please, you can go ahead. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you very much, Simeon. Can you hear me?
Yes, very clear.
All right. Welcome everyone once again. So the approach that I will take is first we are going to look at the syllabus, what has changed, right? And then we'll go into, okay, as a center, pending we get the study text from ICANN, how are we going to approach it? Of course, we can't wait for them, right? Then lastly, we are going to discuss what is expected of you going forward, because of course, this syllabus change requires a lot from us as a student and even as a center. All right. Okay. Um, as many of you would have seen this, right? So I'll be approaching it from an angle where we have received a lot of questions from students, right? Of course, so that we don't dwell on the main changes, right? So basically, what we had before now at foundation level, right? Was BMF, financial accounting, MI, and business law, right? But however, what we currently have is that BE, business environment, has replaced business management and finance. And it's not just that, okay, they scrapped BMF, right? The finance component of BMF, right, was moved down to financial management at skills level, right? So the finance component of BMF was moved to FM at skills level, right? While some other content remained, and then they added few other topics. Then we are so. for us to then have business environment, right? For financial accounting, we are not expecting more changes, remain the same, except for, of course, few other topics that ICAN has introduced. Even I think it applies to almost all the topics, right? Courses like virtual accounting, right? Courses like technology, emerging trend, right? They want you to be aware of what is going on. You know, majority of students, you've been hearing about cryptocurrency, you've been hearing about blockchain, right? You've been hearing about, AI. Some of us, you've not even explored beyond chat GPT, right? So ICANN is now making you to be more interested in it, right? So those are few other courses that are added, or topics rather, that were added at financial accounting level. Right. Then management accounting replaced management information. Right. Management accounting replaced management information. What does that mean? Right. So at MI level, there are some topics that, they took out. Of course, it's not as if they took it out completely. Right. They moved it down to some to SFM, some to PM, some to FM. Right. Why at management accounting, we have other addition to that area. Right. Then business law, right, becomes corporate and business law. So they added other chapters to it. Now to put a bit of clarification to some students' question, right, in terms of management accounting, right? So students who pass all required papers in May 2025, of course, we move to skills level. You are not expected to write MA rather, right? Because the objective of MA is that it replaces MI, right? It's not a new course on its own. It replaced, more like they changed the name, right? And they added few content to it. So what does that mean, right? If you fail management information at the last concluded diet, right? You are going to be writing management accounting in this November diet. So please, let's get that. If you fail MI last diet, right, it only means that, okay, yes, the course that you have to write before you move on to the next level will be MA, because MI is now MA, right? So that at the foundation level. Then at the skills level, of course, this one, I would say significantly, they overhauled some topics, some chapters, and in fact, we have a course that is no more available in the likes of CSMA, right? So at the skills level, we do not have CSMA anymore. We don't have CSMA, right? And then they introduce financial management, right? They introduce financial management. We've also been, hearing questions around, okay, how are we going to approach financial management? If I have passed all papers, am I still going to write FA? Okay, so to put clarification to that, right? Students who are pass all required papers in May 2025 will not write FM in November, right? You will just move directly to professional level. Why? Because you have cleared all your papers at skills level in May. Of course, you are not eligible to write FM anymore. But let's say, for instance, at skills level in May 2025 diet, you failed FR, for instance, right? What that means is that in November, you are going to be writing your FR and also be writing FM, right? Because you have not cleared your paper as at that November diet, then you are eligible to write financial management. And let's say, for instance, oh, you skipped CSME in May, right? You are now wondering, okay, that CSME, is it gone forever? Do you still need to write it? Yes, it is gone forever. What you only write in November 2025 is the financial management, right? And then maybe to also add, okay, I believe we are going to discuss that later in terms of the content, right? That's are being added to each of these courses, right? So students with failed or outstanding papers at skills level in May, right, you need to write financial management because it's a new course. It's a new course that is being added. They took out CSME and they added financial management. So you are expected to write this as long as you still have outstanding paper at skills level. Then at professional level, and okay, some other addition to the skills is that audit and assurance, was changed to audit, assurance, and forensic. I love that part because that's where, my core specialty, right? So forensics is now part of audit and assurance, right? They want you to be aware of, how you can be more conscious in terms of fraud related transactions, right? Now at professional level, right? CR was completely overhauled, right? Where the name was changed to SBR, Strategic Business Reporting. Even in terms of the content, right? They moved things around, some other standards. I think previously, standards like IS 16 and, some skill standards that you would have done in FR, you will still have to repeat it at CR level. But now, what ICAN is now doing is that they want us to focus on professional standards, standards that are applicable at professional level mainly, right? They also added the likes of sustainability reporting, right? S1, S2, IFRS S1 and S2 is being added to CR as well as FR also, right? Then advanced audit, although the name did not change, but yes, the content still also incorporates, a bit of due diligence and forensic in it, right? Then, what will happen to professional level, right? Going forward, we don't know when that will start actually, but going forward, right, before qualified students will be able to apply for induction, right? You'll be asked to write an ethics exam. It will be an online exam, right? So there will be, I believe there will be further details that will be shared regarding that when the times come, right? That's just to have that at the back of our mind. All right, so moving on is now for us to then look at what has changed in terms of the courses with significant changes now, right? Well, I won't dwell on all of them, right? Because we have some courses that we do not expect significant change, the likes of PSAV and all, right? Maybe the recent financial regulations and all is just what we impact that, but we have courses that have changed significantly. Right, and I will start from the found professional level. Right, the number one will be SBL. For SBL now, right, they introduce what is called sustainability and integrated reporting. That chapter, what we've always had before now was beyond financial reporting, but this time around, this is now more like a robust section that is taking about 10 to 15% of the whole syllabus, right? They dwell more on sustainability. And it's not just only about IFRS S1, IFRS S2. No, it goes beyond that. How business needs to be sustainably aware, right? And no, they also introduce, the potential changes in accounting regulation, right? And other current developments. Inside this other current development, that's where we have blockchain accounting, cloud accounting, we have cloud computing, right? That's where we have the cryptocurrency. And of course, before now, anyway, that's if you have been following. All right. ICANN has been testing some of this content in exam, but just that now is the time they've added it to the syllabus. It is now pronounced now. You are expected to know it, unlike before, when you see it in exam or you'll be surprised, and they didn't teach us this and it came out. Now you are expected to know it, right? We still have the likes of group accounts, financial analysis, right, and all over there. But the name was changed. They changed it from CL to SBL, right? Then at SFM level, so SFM, right? Yeah, they completely scrap CSME, but some of the content of CSME was moved down to SFM. For instance, the first chapter, Introduction to Business Strategy and Financial Management, right? Majority of what you go through over there, they are some of the content from CSME, right? The likes of governance, that governance that you are seeing over there, right? They brought it down from CSME, right? Risk management, right? Of course, I think we've always had these before now, but with few addition from CSME. Right. And also they took out a lot of content. You guys, it's professional guys that maybe you've seen the content of SFM before. You are going to notice that you are not even seeing cost of capital here anymore. You are not even seeing CAPIM here anymore, right? It's because they've taken it to financial management, right? So they took out some topics from SFM, right? The likes of cost of capital, capital assets, pricing model, right? They are all taken down to financial management. So it's like they've gone to bombard as a skills level because we have PM already. Now you brought FM alongside FR. It's only God that will save us, right? So that is for SFM. And then for A tax, we added A tax because if you see that last part, right, that's the taxation of incomes of extractive industries, right? Now they also added ESG compliance to that industry, right? And as an ICAN student, right, we don't know the future, guys that will become our minister of extractive industry and all, right? So you need to be aware of whatever is going on in that area, right? The environmental, social, and governance, compliance. You also need to discuss how sustainability practice needs to be implemented, and all, right? And aside this, the funny thing is that even though the topics of a tax and tax will not change, right? All the topics, right, they are not changing in terms of what we know them to be. But however, the content will change. Recently, right, four new tax laws was signed, and before now, right, you know, they've they have updated some tax laws. All this, as ICAN students, you need to be aware of it. And as a tuition center, right, we cannot come to class and assume that, even though the recent tax law will be effective January next year, right? But it is our duty to walk you through those changes, what it is now and what it should be by January next year, right? So that is the reason why we also have this year as courses with significant changes because some tax rates and all will be changing, obviously, right, very soon. All right, that's for professional level. Then at the skills level, the number one here is audit and assurance, and then forensics. Of course, it's not new, right? If you look at the content, they started with what we had before in AA, right? But if you then go into the fourth part, forensic accounting services, right? You look at application of technology in audit, assurance, and forensics, right? So there you are going to look at the different areas of forensics in terms of due diligence, integrity due diligence, not financial due diligence. Integrity due diligence, you are going to look at AML, CFT compliance, the different areas of forensics will be discussed in that chapter, right? And as the essence of this, like I said before now, right? We have accountant that cannot even dictate transactions that appears to be, a money laundering transaction. So now it is now ICANN duty to say, okay, maybe we have not been teaching you enough, right? Yes, let's bring it so that you can be conscious of money laundering transactions, money laundering regulations, forensic investigation, methodologies and all, right? So that's for AAF. Basit, why are you painting the screen? All right, moving on to PM. So at PM level, right? Um, over here they also added some CSMA content, right? They added some CSMA content, and then if you look at PM, you see that you are not seeing working capital management anymore. You are not seeing investment appraiser anymore. They took it out. It is now part of FM, right? And what does that mean? So at PM, they now added performance evaluation and corporate failure. So they brought that from SFM. They added it to PM. Performance evaluation and corporate failure, right? So this is a new topic in PM that was brought down from SFM. Then the last part, we have emerging issues in PM, right? Emerging issues. Also, this part, we have the likes of AI. We have the likes of, how AI can assist management in terms of governance and all, right? Then the third course that I have here is financial management. And of course, this is new. This is new at skills level, right? And it's not as if the content is entirely new. In fact, to be frank, that content is not new. If you have been following, right, you realize that I said, they took out content from PM, they took out content from SFM, and then that is what we have here as financial management. The first one, right, financial management function and environment, that's the introduction. Working capital management was brought down from PM. Investment appraiser was brought down from PM, right? Why business finance, business valuation, risk management, they are brought down from SFM and all. Right, that's for FM. Then the fourth one is tax, actually, tax, right? For tax, why we also have this here is that I think the same explanation applies to the explanation I gave to tax, right, applies to tax in terms of new tax rates, right? The recent tax law, that were signed into that were signed, I think about last month. And before then, we've also, had changes to the tax laws, right? We just need to be aware. Right, we need to be aware of this. So those are the few addition that we have in tax. Right, not that the name, we still have it as transaction taxes, where we have WHT, stamp duties, all these things they are still there. But we then have few others that you know were just recently signed. And aside that, if you look at that last part, application of IT in taxation, over this part ICAN added that okay, you need to be aware of IFRS. Did I say IFRS? Sorry, my head is just full of IFRS. So FIRS Tax Pro Max, right? We have students, even though you are not a tax, you don't practice tax, right? You need to be some of you don't even know what is tax promax. You don't know what is called. Yes, it's a website of FIRS, right? You don't even know how to navigate it. Not necessarily mean that you should be able to file and no, right? There are some things that you can even do there personally. For instance, if you want to collect your tax clearance certificate, you can easily go there and no, right? So all these are discussed under that particular last section. And then for FR, right? For FR, right? The first three, they are not new in terms of conceptual framework, accounting standards, published accounts, and group accounts, right? But however, you see that, okay, we have sustainability framework reporting. That is kind of new, right? Over there, they discuss IFRS S1, they discuss IFRS S2. They also discuss sustainability compliance, how sustainability can affect business, right? Those are what we have there, right? And the last part is ethics, right? And current technological development. Under this part, they discuss spreadsheets, spreadsheets. They discuss cryptocurrency, cloud computing, blockchain, right? How you need to be aware and conscious of what is, the trend in AI, the trend in technological world, right? As an accountant, we have accounting tools. Some of us, we don't even know how to use, accounting packages and all, right? So they introduce some of the content in that chapter. Then at foundation level, BE, as I said before, this is entirely new, right? So we have business processes and environment, the role of accountancy in business and society, right? And then if you notice that the second to the last part, element of macro and micro economics. So over this place, you are going to, they discuss national income accounting. In fact, B is a very interesting topic, guys. Foundation students, you we enjoy business environment. It's very interesting, to be sincere, right? And technological and data analytics, right? Under that part, they discuss spreadsheets. How, even though at foundation level, you should know how to use spreadsheets. You should know how to use, the simple data analytical tools, right? And technological emerging trend, right? Then CBL. For CBL, of course, we know this to be business law before now, but however, they added some, corporate law to it, and it became CBL, right? The few additions to this, before now, you can see law of commercial transactions. I believe this is new and all. But majority of the topics that are here, we are familiar with it, right? And of course, they are not new. The third one is management accounting. They changed the name from MI to MA, Management Accounting. So the first chapter, we'll still go through MI, Management Information, all the accounting for cost elements, they are not new. Cost method and techniques, they are not new. Budgeting are not, right? So basically, it's not as if that content is new for MA. No, they changed the name and then they added few content to just make it more, robust. That's what they did, right? Then the last is financial accounting. For financial accounting, no much change actually. It's only the last part. It's only the last part, which is computerized and virtual accounting system, right? Computerized and virtual accounting system. And one thing is common, right? If you followed very well, you see that at all levels, you see ICAN is particular about technology and data analysis, then virtual accounting. They are particular about it. They want to. So this one is not a case of, oh, technology is evolving, but accountants, they are not evolving. No, right? We want to be upfront there. As a chartered accountant, you should be versatile, right? So those are the changes that have been made to these courses, right? For the course that you did not see, that means that okay, we do not expect significant change from to them actually. Right. So then let's go into how we as a center we approach them. Right. We don't have study text. We don't have material to start with. ICAN has not given us. Then how do we approach it? We cannot wait for ICAN. Right. Of course, we have assembled some resources together, right, in terms of how do we navigate these courses. Right. If you look at everything that is here, for almost all of them, right, we have ACCA equivalents. For instance, business environment, right, it's equivalent to ACCA F1, right? And what we have done is that we have assembled the study text, the study kits, even the summary notes, right? And then, so before we have access to ICANN packs, we'll be using this for now, and we also make it available, to everyone so that you can also be going through them. Financial accounting, of course, that is equivalent to ACCAF3, right? Almost the same content, right? And we have also done the same in terms of ACCA study text and study kit. Management accounting is equivalent to ACCF2, right? Almost the same content, if not the same, right? Actually, corporate and business law is equivalent to ACCF4. In fact, the same content, practically, majorly, the same content. At skills level, of course, we have a lot of similar content here. FR, we've always been using ACCA F9, right? F9, I'm sorry, F7 rather, for FR, right? Before now. So now that we don't even have the updated pack from ICAN, we just need to just continue to leverage F7 and be using it to teach ourselves, right? And of course, that is quite updated. For audit assurance and forensic, is equivalent to F8, right? However, some contents that we cannot find inside FA, we are going to get them from CFE materials, right? By CFE, that's let me say CFE, Association of Certified Fraud Examiners, right? Of which we have the materials also, right? We'll get the content. They focus more on the forensics part, and then we'll get the content from there. That's it. That's if we cannot find those chapters in F8, right? To of course source the material from elsewhere. Then for taxation, right? I can old syllabus, they are still relevant for courses with no updates. But sorry, for topics with no updates. But however, right, we have some chapters that they have updated in terms of the recent tax laws and all, right? So in that area, what we will be doing is we are going to be using Finance Acts, to walk us through those chapters. When we come to class, our slide will be prepared, using the most recent Finance Act and not taking into consideration the changes that have been made to those chapters. Then from financial management, of course, this one is equivalent to ACCF 9. PM, we've always used this before now. Identical to, I said identical because it's just, almost the same with what we have in ACCF 5, right? Then for PSAF, of course, no, should I use the word no change or no significant change to PSAP, right? But what we've done is that the ICAN note syllabus, will still be useful for now. And then for topic chapters that we've noted, we noted that they've updated it. What we'll do is, we'll check the financial regulations, right? The updated financial regulations, and then use it to prepare for class. That's it for skills level. While at the professional level, right, we have SBR. At ACCA, they also call it SBR. You can see it's identical, right? So what ICANN has just done is to adopt ACCA name. In fact, that's almost all these things as you are saying. The CB corporate and business law, what they did was just to adopt ACCA name, right? The management accounting, what they did was just to adopt ACCA name. So, and that is why ACCA study text and study kits, they are relevant for periods like this, right? Advanced audit and assurance is the same name with ACCA, and also we have access to the study text and the study kits. SFM also, right? That's equivalent to ACCA FM, AFM rather, the Advanced Financial Management, and also SFM at ACCA. Then advanced tax. For advanced tax, we also use Finance Act, for chapters that have been updated, right? So then for case study, of course, you have no issue. As long as you are seeing senior professional students, just do the camps. You have no issue, right? We will dismantle that area for you. You don't need any external materials for that, right? So what is now expected of you going forward? What is expected of you going forward, right? The first thing I realize is that as an ICANN student, it is now time for you to think beyond classroom. Before now, we've had some students where, they only want to know what they are teaching in class. When they get to practice, they will tell you that, oh, when I get out there, don't worry, I'll find a way of knowing it. No, this is not the time anymore. you need to think beyond classroom, right? Some of you, you don't listen to news, you don't watch news, right? It's now time to follow global trend in finance, global trend in government, global trend in IT, ESG. IFRS S1, S2, yes, the implementation dates will be January next year, but it's been out for a while now. I'll be surprised. Let me use the word I'll be surprised if some students tell me they are not aware of it. And that means you've not been following the trend in finance world. Right. So please, this is the time for us to think beyond the classroom, right? And we need to apply knowledge, what they are teaching us, to real world business scenario. Thank God, the likes of spreadsheets, blockchain, cloud computing, right, will be disclosed in class now. So there is no way you will tell me, oh, you won't meet this outside world, right? So please, as they are teaching you, if you don't understand, speak up, because that knowledge will be required, right? The next one is for you to embrace lifelong learning, right? You need to stay curious, read widely, read widely. Don't just focus on, oh, what they teach me in class. That's just what I want to do. No, right? You need to stay curious. In class we mention new terminology, or we discuss new content, right? All you just need to do is to go out there and research into it. All right. And then the last part because of my time, I will just pick the last point, which is you need to manage your time effectively, right? Especially at skills level, you will notice that it appears okay. It requires a lot of balance at that area. I won't say it's difficult. It's not difficult, but it just required balance, right? Because I know we are all working students. That's just the truth, right? So you need to have a study planner, right? Break down your workload, have time to rest, because you can't avoid not to do this, right? So that will be it from me. Thank you very much. Right. So over to you, Simeon.
All right. In fact, that was a very detailed one. I'm sure a good number of us are feeling confident, ready for the diet. In fact, if you are feeling confident now, give me some, reactions, guys. Let me see your okay, great, great, great. All right. So thank you for that, Victor. I think it was a very detailed walkthrough. I mean, for us, like you've said, as a center, it's it's important that we also acknowledge that we try to stay ahead of things. Um, so if you go back to the very beginning, the first slide, just to, buttress some points that have been highlighted. Yeah, just for me to highlight on this slide is the popular questions that have been coming from students, in terms of MA and FM, in particular. So, I mean, if you are still in foundation, right, you have one or two papers to write. Um, so it's not about whether you are still in that foundation. It's about, have you written MI and passed MI? If you have written MI and passed MI, is as good as you have passed MA. So if you still have MI to write, you need to write MA in this case. So because MA is replacing MI. For FM is a bit different. So they are taking out CSME, bringing in FM. So if you are still in skills level, or let me start with, if you have passed skills level, yes, you've moved on. Glory to. So you need to just move on to your professional level, and you're not writing FM. Are we together? So, but if you still have one or two papers to write at skills level, it means FM is automatically debited to your account. So you need to write it. And that's the summary of what we have right now. I mean, if you've still got queries on that, I mean, the WhatsApp is open, both the groups and the DMs are open for, further clarification. And if you go to the next slide, really, um, what we've seen as changes, right? Victor, can you go to the next slide? What we've seen as changes is, sorry. Yep. So what we've seen as changes, like Victor emphasized, is three things that I need to identify, that I need to, check with you. So before now in the old syllabus, there are some things that you will see that I can love this area. And a good example of that is financial statement analysis. Before now, financial statement analysis is everywhere. It's everywhere. It's in PSAF, it's in PM, FR. If you get to professional level, you have it in case study, 30% of the syllabus. It's in SFM, CR, that's old paper, CR, right? So it's literally everywhere. Right now, there is a new one that is everywhere, just like you had financial statement analysis. And that's anything that has to do with tech, technology, IT, right? Application of IT here and there. You need to pay attention to it because it means those things across all those papers, they have a good tendency of being examined. And I hope you are noting the point. I'm giving you a reference point. A good example that I've given to you, right? Especially for those of you who have written one level or the other, especially if you've written skills level or you are aware of you are familiar with the old syllabus. You know that financial statement analysis is everywhere. Another one that is everywhere right now is IT related part, right? So we and of course merged with current development. So you can't talk about current development in accounting space without talking about tech as well, right? So you need to be aware of those things. And I mean for SBR sustainability report, and like Victor said, some of these things they have been using style to introduce you to these things before now. For case study, guys, if we have people on this call who wrote case study last diet, one of the major things we dealt with in case study last diet was sustainability reporting. We were able to identify it clearly during our simulation classes, and they saw it in the exam, right? So in the new syllabus, it's clear. They now include it in both FR and CR, so we just need to be aware of these areas that they want to show you that they are interested in. So, and you will see it reflecting in your exams. You will see it live reflecting in your exams. And for SFM, I mean, like we've seen, SFM literally absorbed CSME because if you look at it, the strategic management, the risk and governance, all in SFM now. The only thing they had to do was ethics, to remove ethics. Ethics, you still find it in some courses, but ethics is now independently taken out of this syllabus as a standalone bucket, so that after you're done with your other exam, like Victor mentioned earlier, you only need to take ethics exam, which is online. And that one you can, it's very easy. You can take it anytime you're ready before induction. So it's not like a, but you have to still pass it before you do your induction, right? So, and taxation, right? A lot of changes that might not even reflect on the syllabus right now. The new tax laws that we're seeing, what we are also trying to do as a center is once we see where things are going, we're also trying to see how it impacts on the syllabus we have at hand. And then we'll hold a session to actually discuss the changes in taxation. And the good thing about it is that most of our tutors that take and advanced tax, they are tax consultants. So you can be rest assured that whatever we are teaching you, apart from what is in the syllabus, we are also able to reference the reality in the world of taxation today, right? And at the same time, the practical things that are being introduced to the syllabus, like the tax pro marks, we're able to give you proper training on how to use them, and you can go out there. So ICANN is doing things in a way that you're able to attend an interview today as an ICANN student, and you're able to talk about these things as a knowledgeable, accounting person, right? Not just someone who will be dwelling on old accounting methods and not speak to what employers of labor, are looking for today. And those are the things that, those are some of the things we are trying to incorporate into our lectures as well. I mean, you see things like spreadsheet as well being introduced into the syllabus. We have always used spreadsheet for our lecture, although right now we are trying to balance things, feedback from students and all. But you realize that spreadsheet is now part of the syllabus. Apart from the fact that they are trying to introduce CBE, which we spoke about earlier in our orientation session, it is incorporated into your syllabus right now. So what it means is that if I were to be ICANN student, considering that syllabus spreadsheet is now part of the syllabus and CBE exam is on the way, I would rather prefer a spreadsheet class, so that after the class I can go through the notes using spreadsheet. I'm able to follow the formula and all of those, so that everything is given naturally. I hope that makes sense. But I mean, that's the reality. And if you go to the last the no the no yeah no before this, the other slide, yeah, so this is our response, right? So what we've done is a detailed work to say, let's compare what we are seeing in the new syllabus vis-a-vis what we have in the equivalent papers on the ACCA side. And I mean, some of it direct mirror, but some of it are local papers like taxation and advanced taxation, that what we can really do nothing much by using external material. But the good thing is we have many tax consultants, as tutors that are also taking you taxation, and you can be rest assured that whatever it is in the pack, we're able to bring the current reality into it to ensure you're fine. And for the ACCA equivalent ones, of course, what we are doing is we are going to bring in the 2025-2026 papers, both the study text and the revision kit. And just to clarify, the study text is like, for ACCA side, study text is like normal study text, with content you know, and study kit is like past question, just like your Pathfinder. So just so you know. So study kit is where you will get a lot of questions to practice. So for the current diet, you will see us working, having that proper handshake, right, between the ICANN material and the ACCA materials until ICANN releases the syllabus. Because we cannot tell you that because ICANN has not released syllabus, we still continue to use the old syllabus. It's not possible. When we know that we've seen, I mean, this is also coming from experience in the past, right? We've navigated a number of changes where the study text will probably not released until a few weeks is gone into lectures, or you are probably close to exam. Although we are also following up to ensure we put them on their toe in terms of the syllabus review committee to get the relevant materials out on time. But I'm saying that from tomorrow, which lecture is commencing, we are fully set to do things in line with the new syllabus, and that's it. And in terms of making this available, I mean, the Telegram page needs to be your very close friend. Please ensure you're on the Telegram page. In fact, as I'm speaking, if we can reshare that Telegram link on the chat box, Kato, Victor, it would be nice so that we have everyone there, right? So, and it's very easy to navigate materials. Then once you go to media, even if you join after the media was sent, you can still navigate and find it there. So all you need is go to the media section, search for it, and you're good. And of course, we have e-library, where I showed that during the orientation session. There's a folder that you will see all those ACC relevant materials. Everything will be loaded for your consumption. And at the end of the day, we will be happy. to deal with the syllabus at hand, right? I've also mentioned that when it comes to the CBE part, we are fully ready. Once we have communication on, whatever the plan is for the diet for CBE exam, we have a model that we currently run for the deeper ACCA, deeper FR lectures that we just need to replicate for ICAN to ensure you are very comfortable. By the time you get into that, you realize that people love CBE exam more than the paper exam. That's the funny thing. And what we need to do is that we won't just tell you that by word of mouth. We won't tell you, don't worry, you will love CBE more than paper, and then you will go and have the experience in the actual CBE exam. No. So what we will do is to give you that experience even before the actual exam by allowing you to do a lot of practices and even your mock exam, on a platform like that before the actual exam, if it happens that that is the new way. Okay. So I think it's just for you to be aware of these changes, right? And be aware that you have all the resources to navigate this with ease. So you are not, I you should so it's also one of those diets, which is why there are some questions that I will be deliberate. And please understand with me, there are quite a number of us on this call, about 213 of us. There are quite a number of things that I would discuss it with the team as well. We won't be responding we won't be responding to some questions. And let's do this together. When a student asks for uh please, do you have this text, and then you forward it to the student, you are not actually helping the student. And those are some of the things that some of you would have seen me do in the past. I would rather direct that student to where it is, so that you will know that it's beyond what you will have there, is beyond what you're even asking for. There are a lot of others, right? For example, if a student is asking for a question, a past question, or a study kit, direct them to the Telegram, direct them to the e-library. If possible, send them the link so that they will see that, oh, everything is warehoused here and I've been missing. That's it. And that's how we need to navigate this diet together, because it's a diet where you need to know where to get whatever you want, and everything is in place. Are we together? It's not one of those diets. With the new syllabus we have, I still see people asking for one old textbook written by someone. The other old textbook written by. Things are moving very fast. Things are moving very fast, and you realize that ACCA updates their materials very often, right? And it is the only source that can measure up to the speed that we need to actually navigate the new syllabus. And the good thing about it is, from the ACCA side, you can get summary notes, you can get the revision kit, you can get the study text, and let's organize those things and put them in the e-library for you, and we're good to go. Are we together? And that is what we've designed for you guys. And in terms of the things that Victor has also highlighted on this screen, I mean, very, very important. Think beyond the classroom. What's happening in the crypto world? What's happening? What are the issues? Case study guys, now you've always known your questions are always based on reality, right? So you need to follow the trend. Public sector as well, right? You never can tell, right? Embrace lifelong learning. So here, I mean, we need to, which is, I mean, if you consider the things I talked about when it comes to blockchain, Excel, and some other things they are bringing into the syllabus, it tells you that you need to have an open mind. In fact, we still have people who prefers physical lecture. I mean, it's totally fine, but things are actually moving. We've gotten, for us as a center, we have the full experience. Some of you are aware. So we are not a center that you say, oh, they only do online. We are not a center that you say, oh, they only do physical. We do both. We do both. We've done both for years. We've seen that if we also got to a point that we did both concurrently, right? And we got to a point that we could see it clearly that people no longer prefer physical class. That's the fact. And for you as a student, You might have your personal opinion, but we have that global picture. We have the proper global picture. And what it means is that if you are still that person who prefers physical class, nice, but things are moving very fast. And that's why for us, we've decided to, to drop the physical class for now, to, channel all the energy to ensure our students are getting the best of the best, right? So, from the virtual lecture, and there is no difference between what we are giving you in virtual with what you're looking for in physical, in terms of, oh, you want writing and all of that. We can do that using whiteboard as well. But even the whiteboard, you realize that Excel is into the syllabus, CB is coming, physical might not be able to measure up. And those are the things that we are seeing, right? Get digitally ready, and that's the reality. We've said that when it comes to CBE, of course, that's the purpose of attending a tuition center. We will help you navigate all of those things. Ethics, you see it everywhere. And they've also decided to carve it out a bit so that when you are done with your ICAN exam, you also need to do the ethics module before doing induction. And time management is key. Congratulations to those of you in this session, because what it means is that you're starting early. That's the good thing about those of you in this session. I'm assuming now. So it means you're starting early. So congratulations. So the reason I said that is, if you have someone who starts early preparation for, especially with the new syllabus at hand, that person will will likely have the navigation more easy, right? Especially with the right center, like us. So compared to with the new syllabus, you jump into the middle of the diet, and the first thing we'll tell you is go and listen to this particular session on YouTube. Go and listen to the orientation before you will even say you're ready to receive lectures, because a whole lot, you know. So every weekend is a milestone that you need to follow. And for you, you need to ensure you are ticking the box every week. What we've done this week, have I covered it? Ensure you're on top of your game. And that's it basically. So I think I've been seeing quite a number of questions in the chat box, but I'm seeing responses to them as well. But we can have hands raised so that we can just go through the comment in the chat box. If no question, we can then call on those that have their hands raised for question. But let me just check through. Um, Please, when will the ACCA pack and kits be available for us to start? Yes, will be available from tomorrow. All the sharing and everything, we'll start making everything available tomorrow. Today is gone. But of course, we'll still work through the evening and night, and getting ready for tomorrow. But lecture start tomorrow. Access to videos will start tomorrow. All the access, everything will be available to you from tomorrow. Now that we've done the necessary sessions, to equip you with everything that you need to know. I joined late. I want to confirm this. Whoever is writing the November diet must write, even if you already passed CSME. This question is not clear. So what we've discussed is that if you've passed CSME and you're still at skills level, you still have to write FM. If you've passed CSME and all other papers at skills level, it means you're already out of skills level. Go straight to your professional level, and that's it. So will attendance be made for those the organization is sponsoring their tuition fee? Yes, of course. So you will find out that we partner with some of the big four anyways, just to mention. And for those big four, sometimes they might demand for some information directly from us. So we will, of course, if it is an information that breach your that needs your consent, we'll ask you. But if it is an information that considering that they are most of them usually provide letter of recommendation, so we will probably provide those information to them. For example, if they ask for your class attendance, right, we'll provide. And the good thing is our record tracks your class attendance actually. So we have database for class attendance. So we can easily track. So if your employer is sponsoring you, it is advisable that you don't just rely on the videos, especially if your employer pays attention to your attendance. I know this happens a lot in the Big Four space. I'm aware. So you actually need to ensure you attend the live lectures, because our attendance can only capture the live lectures, not those who are using the videos. Are we together? So, and then for the other Big Four, if it is just reimbursement and all of that, no worries. If the team is always ready to also provide things like receipt or anything that you need. I think Kato also want to shed more light on that. Kato, please proceed. Let me see. Just give me 1 minute, Kato. Yeah, we can go ahead, Kato.
All right. Thank you, Simeon. So just to add a bit to the partnership we have with the Big Four and some other firms, right? So when we have partnership with your firm and you attend lectures with us, you don't pay, your firm settles it, right? So and if you are here and your firm is not currently in partnership with us and you would like to recommend us for partnership with your firm, we understand that for the Big Four, the tuition house has to be accredited by ICAN and registered with PSC, which are conditions that we have fully fulfilled. We're already in partnership with some of the Big Four, and if your own firm is not there and you would love us to be part of the recommended firms for your firm, then you can recommend us to your firm, or you can reach out to us with contact details of persons within your firm that we can reach out to facilitate that partnership. Right. So Simeon, thanks. That's what I wanted to add.
Yeah, thank you. And I mean, quite a number of people as well, what they need sometimes is receipts that they will submit to the employers and all. So right now, what we do is you reach out to the finance person and then that will be provided. But because of the volume that we're getting right now, so we will also try to create a form for that. I mean, let's note that, Kato, by the way. So let's create a separate form for that, such that the moment you need, I mean, for those of you that your employer is not paying directly to us now, that you pay yourself and you probably need to claim from your employer, we'll design that form so that you can submit the request through that form, and then we will provide you all the necessary documents that you need to for that claim. Okay. Um, that's it. And then another question here says, what is your okay? What is your advice on course combination at skills level? So let me just brief you on this right now. So, but I will talk about both skills and professional level. What you need to understand is, if we have 6 papers in total at the skills level, you need to look at your diet, how you're splitting. If you have 6 papers to write, do you want to spread it 50-50, right? Between, let's say, November 2024 5 diet and May 2026 diet. If that is the case, you consider that, oh, these courses, the volume is different. So you probably want to separate courses like PM and FM, and FR or FM, right? So that this one for this diet, that one for that diet, right? So you then need to recognize. So in that case, you can easily do, oh, let's say PM, maybe PSAF and FM. And then the next diet, you can do FR, uh which course have I not mentioned? FR, tax, and audit. Yeah. So and you can also bring it forward. You can do FR, tax, and audit first before you do PM, FM, and PSAF. So those are the ways to combine. So it's not for you to just pack all the bulky ones first, or you want to do all the simple one first. So once you've splitted it like that, so the reason you probably also want to consider FM and PM together is that not very close, but some level of closeness, right? The reason you probably want to consider FR, audit, and tax together is that they have relation somehow close, right? So it makes sense to put them into one bucket, the other bucket, if you're considering. For those of you 5 papers, or 4 papers, just consider that you probably want to separate PM, FR, or maybe PM with FM, and then FR with PSAF and tax. If you are doing 5 papers, just look at that and then you're fine. Once you separate the big papers, and it's possible to also have students who feels like this November diet, I will have time. Maybe in May 26th diet, something is coming up that might hijack my time. So let me write the strong papers now, right? And do the maybe 2 for that diet. It's possible as well. So you must understand your own situation. You don't have to copy someone that. So once you understand your situation, come to us. We'll give you that advice. But this combination that I've mentioned works. The same thing for professional level. A course like SFM and case study works together really well. It doesn't make sense to take case study when you have not attempted SFM. I mean, people do it and they still pass. But I'm just talking about the ease of navigating these things. When you see students who have not attempted SFM and they are taking case study, they are likely need to go and revise or to go and look at some topic in SFM. You can imagine the double work. That, oh, you are doing case study. Someone is asking you, you need to go and revise this in SFM. How easy do you think that will be? So it's easier for someone to combine SFM and case study together. And I mean, you can add tax. It depends on you. If it is this SBR route that you want to go, you can also do SBR, audit, and tax 3 before the last 2, which is SFM and case study. And if you are bringing in the SFM part first, you can do SFM, case study, and you can choose to add tax. But you could also be one of those who feels like you won't have much time next diet. Now is the time you have the time, right? But unfortunately, you won't be able to take the 5. You can decide to front load the big ones. Like you want to do the SFM, SBR, and then maybe another big one like tax or case study. You can do that as well, right? So, just look at those combinations and, you can reach out if you have further query and we should be fine. Still checking the chat box is, um, I guess what was asked is if you pass all courses in skills level and failed CSME, you will need to write FM. Yes. You've passed all the courses at skills level, you failed CSME, you must write FM because you still have a course outstanding in skills level, which is CSME, now replaced with FM. Yeah. Please, can you explain further on the ethics module? Well, yeah, so that's very simple. The ethics module is that there is a carve out of the ethics in the syllabus to have a separate module that you will just write. It's not I'm being careful now to say it's not a serious exam, but it's not like the conventional one where you go into the center or CB platform, write the exam. No, so this one is just an online login. It will be timed, of course. Log in and you write the exam, and once you pass, and I think it's even made light such that maybe if you miss it, you can still try it again after maybe sometimes until they release the guide, anyways. But I'm just speaking with what we have because ACCA have similar model. So it's just a light paper that you need to try to demonstrate that you appreciate ethics, you love ethics. Now you know ethics and you're ready to practice ethics. That's all. Then we can bring you as a full member ACA into the uh, the noble profession. That's all. So it's not something deep, actually. Um, okay. Can new students get access to old recorded videos for last diet to prepare ahead? Yes, of course. It is one of those things we do that that is very, very key in helping our students to pass, especially for the ones that are ready to give it all. So you can stay ahead of the class. When you are going to the actual live class, it's as if you are going for revision. So you can tell Choma, don't worry, me, I've stayed ahead of the class. Okay, so we will provide previous videos, so you will be fine. Uh, Can we be given the link website to get constant information on global trends in finance, government, IT, and all of this? There are so many platforms. Please, let's take this question away. So maybe we need to look for people who will be helping us to share links on trends that relate to accounting. I think we need to utilize the Telegram page more for that. We need to utilize the Telegram page more for that. So let's note this, please. Okay. Good evening. I'm in skills level and I want to combine calculation courses with theory. Are the combination still valid? Okay, so I think I spoke to this earlier. You haven't mentioned any combination anyways, but so what I've said is maybe you separate the big papers if you want to spread your papers properly, but you can also, it depends on your time basically. Just try to separate the way I have mentioned before. And if you need further guidance, you can slide DM. When you log into ICAN Portal and go to the student examination status, the subjects you see there are the ones you are left to write, right? Yes, that's it. Those are the papers you are left to write. However, note that ICANN has not updated the record for Next Diet because there's a way they do it. So they update the status, they release advert for Next Diet, and they have not done that. So you can relax. But if you need any clarification, don't worry, ask. We'll tell you what the status will be. Because once you know your information, for example, if you are an ICANN student or if you are a new student and you're from an institution that is accredited, right? And I'm saying this because I have seen students that said they will wait for ICANN to register them for their exemption to be fully processed before they will start preparing for the exam. And I just laugh. I advise the student that you don't wait. The most important thing is the lecture. So you need to start the lecture as soon as possible, right? So you don't wait. Once you have your information right, we can confirm for you the papers that you'll be writing, and you're good. And even if it is some special courses, because people who studies abroad or you're doubting if your course or school is accredited, we can also help you to reach out to ICANN directly to verify some of this information or share an email or contact that you can reach out to verify directly and you start your preparation. That preparation is the most important thing because ICANN pass list is always very funny. So if you have not put in the preparation, it always shows. Please let's take note of that. The most important thing is actually the prep for the exam. Okay, so okay, so the next question is please MPT charge the lead tutor for SBR. Oh, is it charge or okay, charge the lead tutor for SBR. The money I paid for CR last diet was a total waste. Else a lot will go. Okay. Okay, so I'm guessing I didn't understand this properly. Do you mean change? I'm guessing change the lead tutor. I guess that's what the person is trying to say. Anyways, okay, so that's noted. Then it says the next question says, "Good evening. Can we make first or installment payment before the end of the month and the last installment on the following month?" So we've done an orientation session, and for the payment part, it is strictly in line with what we have discussed. So there is no payment, there is no schedule for individual timeline. We work with general timeline because of this, dealing with the numbers and all. So, and the deadline is this week is free. From week 2 to week 4 or so, I think deadline for uh payment August is it August 1 or 2? So you need to have fully paid by then. After that, we enforce full payment restriction. And after which, if you don't need to continue lecture, you are required to make a promissory note email to us. We've mentioned that. Are we together? We've mentioned that during our orientation. Anything outside that it's difficult to entertain. It's difficult to deal with. Okay, is it advisable? But those are orientation questions. You can take those ones to the group, please. Let's make it because I mean this session is also like on YouTube, by the way. So let's make our questions to be on the new syllabus, which is what we are discussing. So I'll just keep some questions that are not related to the new syllabus Um, Good evening, sir. I was thinking since the new syllabus will begin effective in November, can we still use the old syllabus? Effective November. Effective November means effective in the November diet syllabus. Please take note. Please take note. So it's effective from this diet, not like in the month of November when you're writing exam. Okay, so except ICAN at the end of the day, they decided not to be ready to enforce the new syllabus, and then they will send the necessary communication. Okay. I didn't get the sharing of skills courses. I think this part, if you've missed any part of this session, you can also catch up on YouTube. The next question says, I want to write 5 papers. I want to write five I want to write 5 exams at skills level this November. Yes, it's possible. That's fine. Hope I can lecture friendly for some of us that hope I can lectures friendly for some of us that does not have accounting background. I need I need this because of my new career. Yeah. Of course, ICANN does not lecture. We provide a lecture. So you just need to ensure that you are joining the right center. So if you've done your due diligence and we look like a right center to you, don't worry. All you need to do is get ready for the weekends. Some people have been pressing now. When are we getting the link? When we tell you relax, don't worry, relax. Just ensure you are checking where you are supposed to check, right? You will get the link, you get everything you need at the right time, and you will have the necessary support. Um, what is your advice for someone that attended classes? I think we can take all of this to the group. Okay, some of it have also been responded to. Let's focus on the syllabus document. Please, I want to find out if you have any idea how the CBE will be adopted. They've not released any guide, but I have mentioned that we have a similar model that runs for the ACCA DPIFR guys. We just replicate the same model and you are good to go. You are good to go. I think is it possible to do a top up on the payment? Yeah. Of course, you can do a top up for your payment if you've done one to make it 5 papers. Good evening, sir. Would we be examined based on the new tax rate change? Yeah, so there are ways to examine tax rates. So tax changes in law generally. So it's after 6 months, it can be examined. So for the new ones that have been signed, likely not to come into November 2025 diet. So, but there are changes that has happened before now that you also need to be aware of. And also, for your own knowledge and also preparing for the current trend that you have in the syllabus, you just need to be aware of those things because they can come. The session is already getting long. I think we can wrap up. So let's attend to those that have their hands raised and we can go. So Peter Okoro, you can go ahead with your question.
Mr. Simeon and everyone on the call.
Yeah, good
Actually, the
evening.
last question you answered, I think I've taken care of my question. I was going to ask, with respect to the November diet exam, how important will the new Finance Act, what role is it going to play in the exam? Will it be examined or not? But I think you have responded
Yeah,
to that.
yeah,
So,
that's fine. So
but
it
you
is.
were talking about uh, bringing it into our classes. Is that is it going to be is it going to be for examined on that?
So it is not
Hello.
likely that the syllabus for the new law that was signed a few days ago will be examined. And that's because for any of this to be examined, it needs to have been released 6 months before the exam. I don't know if you get that point. So what it means is, but there are so many things changing in the tax space. Even before that one, there have been so many changes. So it tells you that the one you need to be more aware of, right, for the purpose of the exam is the changes that we've seen in terms of the finance acts, right? So for our lecture, those are the things that we actually do incorporate. But for the purpose of the law that we have, the most recent one, we're going to even have a separate session to actually look at that, right, before your exam. We'll have during the diet, we'll have a separate session to look at that. And just to ensure that we bring everybody, that session will include both you students, the alumni guys, the tutors. It's a session that all of us will brainstorm to, bring ourselves up to speed. Yeah, but tendency of it being tested very low because it's not won't be up to 6 months by then. The
Okay,
only
sorry,
thing is
another question
ICAN
I
has
have.
structured the syllabus to say current trend and all of that. So they've included those things, which actually allows them to, be able to, peep into some of these things. Okay, you
Okay,
have a
sorry, I
follow-up
have another
question?
question. Yes, the F6 you talked about that is now a standalone kind of exam for those who qualified this this last diet. Would they be writing that exam as well before the induction?
Yeah, so those are the guides that we are still expecting from ICANN, but the new syllabus is from November 2024. And you realize that those that are doing induction, so one induction has been done, and the next induction is November, December. So it means there is a tendency that they need to write. Are you with me? So, but the clarification that we need to get from ICANN, which,
Yes.
I mean, a lot of us have also been following up, is the application in terms of how, because you need to define if the cutoff is based on when the syllabus is effective or when someone actually qualifies. So we could see the guide at the end of the day by the time it comes out to say it is actually those that qualify from November now. So let's wait for those things. But whatever it is that we see at the end of the day, you can be rest assured that it's not a big deal, it's not a problem, and that module is not anything too serious.
Thank you so much.
Yep. Okay, the other hands raised. Ololade, do you want to go ahead with your question?
Yeah, well done. Thank you very much, sir. I just want to ask, you mentioned earlier that we'll be leveraging the ACCA material pending when ICANN will release their study pack. What would be your advice in terms of if one wants to go through additional questions, to exercise what has been taught in class? What will be the resource material for guides since Finder might not be in quotes, you mentioned quite a number of, oh, this is coming from here. Will it be advisable to say some of those topics? Maybe let's say some of those topics that are coming from, I'm using FM now, that are coming from CSME, SFM before now, that is in SFM before now. Can we go into those Finder to check up those questions? Is that advisable? Is
Yeah.
it
So,
advisable?
yeah, thank you for that. You realize that things are moving around. And at the same time, so while we are saying we will be using ACCA material, those ICANN pathfinders are also very useful. Let me use the SFM for example. The SFM, even though it looks like the AFM will be relevant for the advanced risk management, advanced investment appraisal, and all of those, will be relevant. But they also brought in governance, risk management, and strategic management that was sitting in CSME before. What does that mean? When we are treating that part as a tutor now, I need to prepare to ensure that I'm able to treat the topics that we can see, and we are able to even revisit some CSME past questions. I don't know if that makes sense. Because you cannot find the past questions anywhere now than those old CSME past questions. So,
Thank
but
you.
for the other topics, that aligns with ACCA syllabus and all of those, the ACCA revision kits are there, and you can always open to practice. For some that you can see that, especially when it comes to that CSME and SFM blend. So those are the things that someone must have the map on their head to be able to map things properly. So it's not that diet where things are straight. This course for this past question, no. So there are some courses that you need to do. You need to just bring from here before you're able to feel comfortable. Yeah, but
Thank you
we'll
very
do
much.
all of that.
Thank you.
Okay, and of course, we'll replicate the same pattern across other courses that has similar changes. For this example is FM. FM, we have F9 in ACCA, which gives us all the materials. But some, if we realize that it's not there, and for most of those topics, they are either moved from SFM, from PM, or from BMF that was in foundation. It means those past questions now, we will need to be bringing it in sometimes, and then we're good. No other hand is raised. And if there are no other question, I would just say, let's continue on the WhatsApp group. Oh, there's still one handle. Destiny. Yeah, you can go ahead before we close. And please, we can take this as the last question, please, so that we can reduce the recording, and then we can continue on the WhatsApp group. Go ahead, Destiny.
Okay, thank you very much, Prof. Good evening from here. I actually wanted to ask if this MCASI program still hold, but it's like someone has replied me on that on the chat. Mutual agreement with tertiary institution.
Yeah,
And
so that's
also,
one thing you need to be aware of if your school. Kato, please let's get those documents shared on the WhatsApp group as well. The list of accredited institution, the list of that MCAT,
accredited.
institution. Let's share them on WhatsApp group so that people will see their institutions. And those things do has to do with the year you graduated and all of those things. So you need to pay attention to those things. But if your school has the easiest way is always to see the other colleagues from the school, how they are navigating. But in absence of all of those, right? Because it's possible in your school, you're probably the first person to even start. Maybe others are still finding other ways to make money. You are probably the one trying to start
I've been
I mean,
to ask this question actually. What if after registering for this diet and I discovered that my school was accredited, will I can still allow me to pay for exemption for skills?
yeah, it's not a problem. The most stringent condition when it comes to exemption is that you must not have failed that paper before. If you have
Okay.
attempted that paper and failed it, that paper that is failed will not be exempted. That's the most stringent, condition when it comes to exemption. Any other thing, it can always be managed. Even for us as a center, the moment you've attempted that paper and you fail it, and then you realize that you are supposed to claim exemption for that paper, and then you ask us to help you chase ICAN, we are not able to chase anybody for that. They won't respond to us. They won't grant such exemption.
All right. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
But when are your class days? Is it only weekend?
You said what?
Your class days?
Yeah, our classes are weekends. Although during the session we had earlier, we presented another session that we normally hold on Friday nights. It's called body session. And it's just a session, an accountability session with your assigned tutors to monitor and discuss with you to see how things are going. And that session is spread. I think the entire diet is just 6 sessions spread across the diet. But for normal lecture is Saturdays and Sundays. So you are done with your work during the week. You are ready for the weekend for lectures. When you are done during the weekends again, go into the new week, prepare for your work, or any other extra time you see, you revise what you've done in previous weekend and get ready for next weekend. The weekend is always loaded. Yeah.
Thank you very much, sir.
All right. Thank you everyone for joining this. Another hand raised.
So sorry, Prof. I asked the question already on the chat box, but I didn't think you understood what I was saying. So I just I wanted to find out about the CB exams, right? Do we have an understanding how it's going to hold, given that we go to centers and all of that, and they're giving books and biros and whatnot. So if we are going CBT, are we now expected to come with laptops? Are we expected to, are we going to be provided with laptops? Is there going to be a CBT center? I just want to have an understanding of how the CBT is going to run because I've not heard anything about it since its introduction. Thank you.
Yeah. So good question. Anyways, so they will make all the resources available. So you don't need to do anything. Your own is to practice and be ready. So actually, the way it works, if we look at the ACCA model, is that there are CBE centers, right? And those centers, they make everything available. So it will not be done by your own system. It will not be done with your own system. It will not be done in your house. So there will be a CBE center. So you will realize that if they are doing that, there will be some changes when it comes to exam centers, right? Where it will now be more of the IT centers now. Um, you know, how that needs to go, ICAN, of course, will communicate. But the most important thing for us is preparing for the exam and getting ready. That's
All
all.
right,
And
thank you
for us
very
as
much.
a center, for us to also put in place things that will help you practice and familiarize yourself. I mentioned earlier that we won't just tell you that, oh, don't worry, you will enjoy CBE more than paper. No, we will make you to experience it before the exam. That's the only way. We will make you to experience it before the exam. Similar to our mock structure, basically. And I mentioned earlier that we use similar model. For some of you might be aware, we also do lecture for ACCA, DPIFR lectures. So we just replicate the same model. So it's not a problem.
All right, thank you, Prof.
All right. In the absence of any other question, I don't think any other hand is raised. So thank you so much for your time, guys. Catch you on the group. Let's get ready for tomorrow, and then we can slide into the diet properly with lectures. So thank you for your time, guys, and thank you, my colleagues, Kato, Victor, and every other person on the call. So have a good evening.
Thank you, sir.